Yes, let me also take this across to Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, one of the points that I was discussing with Shiv is about the situation at the line of actual control. And would this, something like the Prime Minister visiting this particular area of Nimu, being there personally, meeting and speaking to personnel on the ground, would that ever be possible in China? Someone like Xi Jinping actually being there on the ground when the government hasn't even acknowledged what's happened, hasn't even given out details of what's happened. I don't think Xi Jinping has even put out one statement so far.
No, Xi Jinping clearly hasn't put out a single statement so far. As you very rightly point out, even when the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi spoke to journalists on the sidelines of the Congress, in the Communist Party meet in Beijing, he barely commented. He hardly commented on the situation along the line of actual control. And perhaps one reason for this could well be that the Chinese have also been taken aback by India's response. India's very strong response along the line of actual control, and not just in the Ladakh sector. But the Prime Minister's presence there is significant. It is a very strategic message that's going out to China, to this region, and to the rest of the world. This is amplification of India's resolve that Chinese will not be permitted to spread their tentacles, at least in this part of the world. While China is, spreading its tentacles in South China Sea, in East China Sea, they're having a face-off with the Japanese, with Philippines, with Vietnam, with several other countries in the South and East China Sea. None of that will be permitted in India, on the Indian borders, is the big message that goes out from Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Government of India. The fact that the Prime Minister himself is there sends out that very, very strong message. It's a significant message, not just a morale booster for our soldiers on ground. They now know that they have the backing of the Prime Minister, which they did. Incidentally, if I may, Akshita, the Prime Minister has always been very, very hands-on in dealing with national security, whether it was the raid that happened against the Northeast insurgents, along the Myanmar border, or the surgical strikes after Uri, or the Balakot airstrikes. The Prime Minister all the time stayed in the war room when all of that was happening, and now he's there right on, on ground zero when Chinese have transgressed along the line of actual control. India's big concern remains Chinese presence between Finger 4 and Finger 8. In every interaction, General Harinder Singh, the Fire and Fury Corps commander, has told the Chinese that they have to go back beyond Finger 8. Pre-May status quo ante has to be restored. That's India's single point agenda. And when the Chinese say, meet us halfway, India said there is no halfway on this, Akshita.
All right, Gaurav, I request you to stay on with us. We're also getting you a lot of voices of different people to tell you exactly what this means, of veterans who've also been speaking to us. Let me take this across to Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, also, who's joining us on this broadcast. General Gurmeet Singh, I want to understand from you, what is the kind of morale boost that everyone's talking about? What will a soldier standing at the line of actual control feel when the Prime Minister comes up to him and personally pats him on the back?
Ma'am, it's a great day, I must say. It's a great day when the Prime Minister of the nation comes and meets the soldier on the ground. That means a look and meeting the soldier on the ground is going to be a force multiplier for the morale of the troops on the ground. He has taken away the entire middle methods of knowing the Jawan. And his pat on the soldiers who were injured on 15 June. He's being there and, being one with the soul of Indian Army to pat them for the supreme sacrifice that 20 soldiers did on 15 June. He is standing with them when they're preparing, when they're alert, when they got a challenge in front of them. He is there with them when the soldier needs the head of the family at that moment. In fact, it is going to be absolutely a top moment when Prime Minister meets the Jawan, when he meets the leaders out there, when he meets the commander out there. There's an old saying that a look on ground is better than 1,000 reports or visuals. And that is what is going to be a force multiplier. In fact, I would say that he is a great leader. He's a great statesman. He's the one who is a great force multiplier to the strength of each and every one of us, and especially the soldier of the Indian Army. I think it's a great day, and he's gone there. He's he'll be briefed by the corps commander who had attended the meeting. In fact, there are three things which are going in together. One is attention, one is a preparedness, and one is a meeting. At this moment, most important is preparedness for any challenge, any conflict, or anything, any contingency. And this adds value, potential, and I think it's a great force multiplier.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, for joining us on this broadcast. So you've got veterans also saying that this is an unprecedented move, one that not just sends across the right message to our personnel, but also shows you the will of the political leadership currently in dealing with the crisis that we're seeing right now at the line of actual control. Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain is joining us on this broadcast. General Hasnain, you know, these pictures, and it may sound very cliched, but it literally speaks 1,000 words. And I've been trying to get opinions from veterans on what really this does to a soldier's morale when the Prime Minister is there to personally thank him and to show the nation's gratitude.
See, there's no doubt that there's a transformational effect on the motivation and morale of the Jawan. To see the head of government, to see the Prime Minister appearing, and you have a Prime Minister who has a very high level appeal within the nation. So his arrival there at the front lines, his mingling, not really physical mingling because of COVID is a problem, but there his presence among the troops and speaking to them, it makes a huge impact. But even more than that, I would say that this visit, the fact that it's a surprise visit, it has taken the world by surprise, it's taken the nation by surprise to some extent, has itself had an effect on ground. It's a huge strategic messaging to China, not only to China, it's a huge strategic messaging to various nations of the world who are observing the manner in which incrementally India is responding. And you've seen that we have responded in the military domain, we've responded in the economic domain, and this is the political domain itself, which is conveying very strongly the political message that India is one. A head of government is there, he's conveying certain directions, instructions, he is inspecting the area, carrying out a reconnaissance, and all this has a huge transformational effect on ground.
Sir, thank you for joining us here on India Today. Gaurav Sawant is still with us, getting us all the updates and really giving us perspective on what this means. The fact that the Prime Minister sprung a surprise out there this morning, Gaurav, by heading to Leh, and we got all these pictures that you see on your screens of the Prime Minister landing. That seems to be the moment that the Prime Minister just landed in Nemo, flanked on one side by the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and on the other to his left is the Army Chief, General Naravne. You know, there is a lot of symbolism involved in this, and not just for our forces, not just for the country. It really does, in fact, send out a huge message, and those pictures will hopefully come shortly of the Prime Minister interacting with the soldiers who were injured in the clash at Galwan.